What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Mindshare podcast. This show is sponsored by Kit's Keep in Touch Systems, a two-time international award-winning marketing suite for sales professionals. We're also sponsored by REM Real Estate Magazine, Canada's premier monthly magazine for real estate professionals. Learn more about our sponsor by visiting my site, mindshare101.com. Also, while you're there, be sure to download your free copy of my book, The Ultimate Marketing Bundle. This is a 31-page ebook with a 90-day social media content calendar. Check that out. Also, check out our option for one-to-one coaching. And when you get there, you're going to see a pop-up about our upcoming Mindshare here in Toronto. Details are limited. And I'm going to tell you, that is very much on purpose. Now, what I will tell you, all I'm going to tell you, is it's taking place in Toronto. It's happening. It's a 2-day event. It's on May 29th and 30th. And once you register, well, that's when we'll be in touch with some more details. But I'm going to tell you this. Do not be that person who says, man, I wish I was there. And don't wait, because it's going to be a powerful group and we're going to be solving big problems. Today's episode is number 223. She is the founder and CEO of Moms and Heels, who teaches busy moms to slay online sales by identifying their story, personal brand, and mission, all using social media. She joined network marketing 10 years ago as a broke single mom looking to get her car back from being repossessed. While stuck in a cubicle at work, she missed her firstborn taking her first steps, and that was the moment that made her feel like the worst mom ever and drove her to want more. After an old high school friend told her she could make money with a supplement, she was in. However, she never made a cent for the first 2 years in the industry. It was her second company where she built an organization of over 60,000 customers and distributors in less than 2 years using online strategies. She became one of the top 12 income earners in that company. Now, living brand forward, she shows other marketers how to do the same. And it is her mission to take more mamas from the cubicle to the throne. She was also featured in Yahoo Finance as a top branding coach in 2020 and 2021. And with zero social influence, she's built a multiple 7-figure income using social media and says, you can too. Joining me on this episode of the Mindshare podcast is founder and CEO of Moms and Heels, Marina Simone.
Marina? Hello. How are you? Wow, you make me so special.
Hey, welcome to the Mindshare podcast. You know, it's good. We're excited to have you here today.
I'm excited to be here.
It's awesome. You seem like you got a great story, and I'm really excited to share this with everybody because, you know, as we're talking about off air, the audience is very much in a, you know, business world, entrepreneur, a lot of realtors in the real estate industry, mortgage brokers, folks in that nature. And, you know, what everybody has in common is everybody is an entrepreneur at heart. Everybody's running a business. Everybody has that struggle with work-life balance. Everybody has that thing of, oh my God, I wear way too many hats.
Yeah.
And again, as I said to you off air, I think you got a cool story. And I think you got some wicked stuff that you could share with people. And it's different, right? Because it's not what our audience is used to in terms of, again, having folks within their industry, but this is completely outside the industry.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Well, I'm grateful to be here and excited to dig in.
Yeah, well, let's do it. So tell us, like, give us some background. I know I just read the bios. There's a whole bunch of background there, but like,
yeah,
who are you? What do you do on the daily? What is your big mission?
Yeah, it's funny. If you would have asked me what my big mission was 10 years ago, it was just, I got to make money, right?
Yeah, I like that. I'll jam with that.
Right. And now it's like, after the abundance, the blessings, all the hard work, and being in a different place, it is truly my mission to just help more moms create the lifestyle that they want. You know, being a stay-at-home mom and working from home is hard, but being able to create systems and schedules and things so you can have that emotional freedom with that time freedom is really important as a mom. And so it's my mission to just help more moms, you know, find that emotional freedom with the time freedom and financial freedom all at the same time. And it's different for every mom of what they want and what that looks like. And it's okay that it's different. So also kind of spitting that mission out there to the mom entrepreneurs. Like it's okay to want different things than what society thinks we're supposed to want and have.
I like that. I like that because I've got this term that I talk about a lot, very bluntly called sheeple, and
Mm.
following like sheep and doing what they
Hmm.
like what they're supposed to do based on what other people are doing. And it sounds like
Yeah.
what you're saying is like, no, you are allowed to do you,
Yeah.
and I love that empowerment there. So love the mission. Um,
Mm.
I guess I throw it out there and say, like, I know obviously founder and CEO of Moms and Heels, right? Like,
Mhm.
dads are a little bit alienated, but like, I get that side of it. But I would say to everybody out there, all the guys, all the dads, like, guys, we know again, if you are a father and you've got children at home or you've got a significant other at home, we know that our time as well gets tied up a lot. And there's that balance
Absolutely.
between like being out there and doing. So I'm confident that a lot of what's going to happen here today that everybody's going to be able to learn from and take away from, moms, dads, whatever you are, it's
Oh, for
all
sure.
low. It's something that you can take away. And especially as you brought up the thing about time, which is like
Yeah.
a massive pillar for me, right? Is about teaching about like how to empower time to manage you.
Yes.
I think there's a lot that we can take away here.
Well, here's the good news is that I do actually coach men and we're hashtag dads in sneakers. So don't you worry.
There you
I'm
go.
I have a very manly way of teaching. I'm
Cool.
very like powerful. So it's not all just puppies and rainbows over here. So no worries.
I like it. Okay, cool. You're talking our language now.
Yeah.
So, Maria, take us back. You were in a rough spot. You tried your hand at a few businesses. You finally found success and built a network of over 60,000 people in less than 2 years, which I think is awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
On top of creating a multiple seven-figure income leveraging your social media. So, were you already a social media expert at the time?
No. That's so funny you asked that too, because I think back to like the MySpace days.
Oh my
So
God,
when I
yeah.
first got started in any kind of like entrepreneurship, like I watched my grandfather, he was an entrepreneur, but my mother was very much like go to school, get a college degree. He's not like that. He's like off the boat from Italy, very entrepreneurship he was, right? Owned bars, cigar shops, but he was weird in our, to everybody else because he had a different mindset. And so growing up, I watched that and I just loved him. So I always knew I was different and I always felt different. I had this allergy to bosses. Somebody would tell me to do something and I literally would
I have the
always,
same one.
dude, I'm so allergic to somebody telling me what to do. It's so bad. Oh, my poor husband. But like I literally just it just didn't work for me and it was like against the way I felt. So I didn't know what that meant though. 17, 18, 19 years old. So I was just a magnet to the bar industry because it was like make money fast.
Hmm.
And college just again, it made me want to throw up. I did it for my mom, but I couldn't stand it. And so in this like bar kind of world, I was like, oh, I can make money fast and then I can buy things and sell things. Like that's how I kind of looked at the world. And the things I was buying and selling wasn't exactly good. Let's just put it out there. Okay.
Hmm.
It wasn't the buying and selling in a good way. I got caught up in a really bad crowd, was hanging out with gang members and hanging out with drug dealers and all the things. And so the entrepreneurship mind that I had when I first got started, no bueno, not very good.
But this is like learn from the street. You're never going to get that in school.
No, you don't. So I did get a lot of street smarts. I'm grateful
Yeah.
for it. I wouldn't change anything. I
Yep.
really wouldn't,
Yep.
except maybe, some things. But, when I got pregnant with my daughter, who's now, she's going to be 13 in July, like I couldn't live that life anymore.
Right.
Like I couldn't be pregnant, bartending, dancing on bars, living that life. Everything just kind of like changed. So then it went to, well, what do I know? Well, I have this degree that I hated getting, but I have it in accounting. Let me go find a job and work in a cubicle. And that's where I missed her take her first steps. Like I was literally chained to a cubicle. My boss, who was horrible to me, was putting another computer on my desk. I have pictures that I share on social media. I had two computers and I was working overtime just to literally keep the lights on. And I got a text from the daycare. Hey, Anaya just took her first steps. And it was just
Uh,
like I could barely afford anything as was. That's why I was working overtime. And I was just missing moments. And so that I think was a big moment for me of like deciding like I don't care what I have to do. I'm not I'm not living like this for the next 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. I don't care however long it was. Like I couldn't do it. And that's what I was introduced to network marketing.
Got you. Got you. And then so from the first the decision, which came out of some, real life struggles, which, and everybody, and again, everybody tuned in, like, that thing you're going through right now, like
Mhm.
whatever it be, or that life changing moment that might have happened to you or may be happening to you. I mean, I'm going to dumb this right down and say, like, you got a choice. You can either decide you're going to make a move, you're going to do something about it, or you can sit there and you can lament. And
Yeah.
it sounds harsh, but yo, that's the truth.
Yeah.
You're either going to do something or you're not.
No, if
So
you get
you
backed into
decided to
a
do
corner,
something.
you have to make that decision. And I was backed into a corner at that point for real. Yeah,
So you got part of that company. You started to sign. You started to do that, basically commit to that, and then
I
started
did.
getting onto the social front, and weren't any type of social media expert at the start. So, like, what was the
No,
first thing that you did when it was like, okay, I'm now part of this company. I'm doing
yeah,
this.
yeah.
What was the first thing you did when you started leveraging social media? And
So
and, and hold on, sorry, Marina, forgive me.
yeah,
I keep saying social, and we've
yeah,
talked about the fact that you've done this using social, but I might say I might even go like umbrella of like online. I don't know if
yeah,
that's a better way to put it for you.
for sure. Like I've
Okay.
done all the things. So I started on Facebook and then I went to Instagram and then I started building an email list and a
Okay.
texting list. And my texting
Okay.
list right now is fire. Like I have like 40,000 people subscribed to my texting platform. And I mean, that's where a lot of my sales and engagement and coaching clients and anything really comes from at this point, along
Social
with
is the texting?
so the texting, the SMS texting, yeah, it's been huge for us in the last 3 years, and we love it.
Right.
But when I first started on Facebook, like I had no idea what I was doing. I mean,
Right.
we couldn't even go live on Facebook back when I first got started on Facebook. So like it was literally like, hi, I call it the spammy Tammy ways of like just spamming, come buy my stuff.
Mhm.
Here's what I've got. Like, I've got this for sale. Like, it was horrible. It was really, really bad. I looked like an ad 24/7, right? And I think I had 300 friends at the time. And these people were not my target audience. They weren't people that needed what I had either. So it was weird. It wasn't until I started using Facebook groups that I started to see, like, oh, I can build a community of people that might want what I have, and then it became something where I could start growing. But my first 2 years, I mean, like you shared, like I made no money. Like
Yeah.
I spent more time investing and learning about social media, about how I could use it, going to conferences, like buying, anything I could, any course I could to actually learn how I could leverage the tool, right? Like I still had to be the person using the tool, and I didn't think I really got that yet.
Mhm.
But 2 years later is when I started, in 90 days, like when I really went all in with Instagram and Facebook, hit six figures. 2 years later, hit seven. Then I built my multiple seven-figure brand that I have now on top of my seven-figure income with network marketing, because all the skills and strategies that I've learned,
Right.
I can apply to any business now that I want to build.
Right. You see, what I find interesting there, and what I think everybody's gotta really pick up on right now from one of the things that you just shared there, and I wanna dive into some more of that. When you're first posting, you recognize that that wasn't your audience.
No.
Right, and that's important because we talk a lot when we talk about marketing. We talk about you gotta understand who your audience is. There's your first number 1, right? Who am I talking to? And oftentimes, we kinda just throw messages out there, and we just throw shit out there. We hope something's gonna stick and, people see, but you then recognized, "Hey, wait a second, gotta talk specifically to my audience," and then it was about building that group to bring the audience into,
Yep.
and that's where the power started to come from.
Yeah. So it's funny when I branded Moms and Heels, which is I trademarked it now. Like I'm so cool. I've got like
Nice.
trademark stuff
You're
now, which is
legit.
awesome. I'm legit, right? But when I didn't start building my brand, like where I actually like, okay, I'm gonna build an email list until 2017.
Mhm.
Already was making money, all the cool things, 2017. And I chose Moms and Heels. I didn't really choose it. My community chose it for me. Like, because I was always sharing what heels I was wearing to go on stage, what high
Mhm.
heels I was wearing, that day. Like, it was just my thing. My mom actually gave birth to me in high heels. So my grandmother wore high heels, like, to the beach. Like, it's just our thing. And the high heels made us feel postured, right? Like, it just
Mhm.
helped our posture. And so I was like, oh, so I'm a mom and I'm in heels. And it was like, oh, and they were like, yeah, your mom's and heels. And I'm like, cool. So my community branded that, and then they branded themselves as the healers, Heelers. So
Interesting.
what it did was is it started a community, and people love community. And so
For
we had
sure.
a place for, and it's really women, but we have men in there too that
Mhm.
literally just want that posture and want to be able to just be themselves. And so it was really cool that it kind of evolved from that community, and they felt like they were a piece of that brand together. It was really cool.
Yeah, no, I think that is great, and I think that that's, again, a big part of when we talk about marketing is understanding who is your audience, and then, yes, we look, I don't know, I'm sure you read a lot of books and listen to a lot of podcasts, and you said you did a ton of learning. This is one of the big things too, right? Is finding and building community.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of salespeople, entrepreneurs will sit back right now and kind of go, well, how do I know who mine is? And I
Mm,
would tell everybody right now, you want to go back to the past number of deals you've done over the past 12 to 24 months, identify who the people are that you're working with, right? Look at your contact list and understand who are the people that you really connect with. Think
yeah.
about what you do and who you are outside of work. What are
Yeah.
your hobbies and interests? Again, who are the people you connect with? Those are your people,
Yeah.
right? And if you can start to create an environment for those people to partake in, that's where you start to build out community.
Exactly.
Now, getting on social, learning what to do, first thing you did, and then we talk about, the fear of putting yourself out there. And we know that fear is a big deal.
Yeah.
We know that so often people are so concerned about what other people think. What are they going to say? What about what am I wearing or how my hair looks or, what color my heels are today? No, but like, you get what I'm saying though? Like,
Yeah.
it's like people are
Yeah.
so worried about, that keyboard ninja
Yeah.
that's going to just get into attack mode.
Yep.
And I try to say to people, I mean, look, and we know the famous line, but it's like, everything you want is on the other side of fear.
Yeah.
How did you get past that and start going, that's it. I'm getting out there. Or was that just like innate in you as your personality?
No, not at
Okay.
all.
Talk to
I
us about that.
actually,
Cause like that's the big
yeah,
stepping stone for people, right?
it's yeah, because most people look at me on, my content and in person, and they're like, she's so confident, she's so postured, and nothing, she's afraid of nothing. And it's the complete opposite. I actually am type 2 bipolar. I suffer from anxiety and depression, and
Okay.
I'm on medication for that. So, like, even getting ready for this podcast, like, I had to mentally prepare myself. You know, I have to prep and prime myself before I get on a stage in front of thousands of people. Like, I
Mhm.
can't just show up. There has to be this prepping and priming. And especially with, and I'll share this and take it or leave it. But like, when I said I hung out with gang members, like, when you Google my real name, like, because Simone's not my legal last name, when you Google my real last name, like, my ex was a leader of a gang. So I was in the newspapers for that. So I was terrified that when I started branding myself and I started, becoming this entrepreneur, that who I was when I was 18 was going to affect the way people looked at me, the way
Mhm.
people, would or wouldn't want to work with me. And my mother, I embarrassed her so much from my 18 to 24, lifespan there. And she was known in our community for being, in education, top leader in education. And so there were so many things I was terrified of being judged, and how are people going to look at me and being made fun of. And I am super hood from, South Florida. And who am I to be teaching and training and all these things? And so the imposter syndrome is real,
Yeah.
and it I have to work on that daily. Like, I literally have to work on that daily. And it's funny, my husband the other day was like, why are you so nervous? I'll be speaking on a stage in front of 200,000 people virtually. And he's like, why are you so nervous? I'm like, babe, because I have to prep and prime myself. I have to fight with the imposter syndrome in my head. And he's like, yeah, but you've been doing this for so long. I'm like, that doesn't matter. Like, there's
It's so
still
funny. I
have
have those
to be.
conversations with Jennifer every once in a while,
Yeah. It's
right?
it's
Like,
that emotional attack that we have to stay mindful of, no matter what phase you are in your business. It's constant, but there the growth is on the other side of that. I know that. So I embrace it now instead of
Right.
like running away from it like I used
Mhm.
to, go hide in a corner, have a panic attack. Now I embrace it and I work through it. And that's come with a lot of mindset work, a lot of coaching, a lot of real time experiences with it, you know?
I totally know. It's interesting. I was at an event not too long ago, and I was talking to a bunch of people that, just like myself and yourself, we do a lot of speaking, get on a lot of stage in front of a lot of people, and it's almost like you stand up there, and people are like, "How do you do that?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "I love it," and I got
Yeah.
zero fear about it. But what's interesting about it is that speaking with so many people that do that, so many of those people, I would say, including myself, are very introverted.
Yeah.
You know what
Very.
I mean? So, like, we
Yes.
like our own time. We like to actually not be with a lot of people in some way, shape, or form, yet it's like, talk about that fear. It's always a constant thing. I mean, I've got, I think, 4 events coming up over the next, like, 10 days or something, and, yeah, you sit there thinking, like, "Oh my god, I got these events coming up. I got prepared, blah, blah, blah," and, like, Jen will turn, she goes, "You're gonna kill it. You do this to yourself all the time, and then you go out there and
Same.
you do a great
Yeah.
job," and, like, straight up, for everybody tuned in that knows me and sees me on stage, I'm telling you, it's not
Yeah.
about it's not about nerves, but it's about preparation. It's about
Yeah. Wanting
expectations.
to
It's
do
about
well,
really delivering our
wanting to
best.
do well, and really wanting to
Yeah.
just serve, right? It's that
Ex
servant leadership part.
That's it.
It's that servant. I feel like there's a place where you make money and then you make money and serve, right? And I feel like when you're at that place of make money and serve, you forget about the make money part and all you're focused on is the servant part. And it I feel like it's so much more pressure than just making money. Like
It's so
I'll go
true.
make a lot of money and make a big deal, but then like when I have to be on for people to really move them,
Yeah.
it excites me, but makes me nervous at the
Of
same time.
course, because
So
now
I get
there's
it.
some expectations, and you even put
Yeah,
those on yourselves, right?
I guess.
So
Yeah,
tell us this, like, getting on social, putting yourself out there, figuring out who your audience is. What about the whole brand strategy?
yeah,
You know, did you figure out your brand strategy first and then start posting content? Did you just start posting? Were you connecting with, like, did it develop over time? Is it still developing? And I might kind of say I guess I know the answer to that one, but I think
yeah,
from a starting point, because again, when we talk about, hey, get out there and leverage video, put yourself out there on social, connect with people, build a network, etc. There's
yeah,
that fear
yeah,
around, again, I don't know who I am, and I don't know if
yeah.
people are gonna like me, what should I look like, and what should it be before I go out there? And everybody's looking for perfection.
So I before getting on with you today, I was like, am I gonna do my hair and makeup? Am I not gonna do my hair and makeup? Am I gonna get all bougie? I'm bougie but balanced, by the way. Get all bougie for them or not. And it's spring break right now, so it would have taken me a lot of time. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna show up as me because it is what it is. You know, I don't look like a hot mess express, but it's who I am on a regular basis, and I want people to see that, especially women, because I used to show up perfect on social media and I intimidated the crap out of people.
Mm.
People were so intimidated by me and I didn't know this. I thought like you have to show up perfect. Like you have to have your ish done. Like you can't mess up. Like you can't pick your nose. You can't have boogers. You can't burp. Like now all that stuff just happens FYI, so I'm not apologizing for it. It's
Life
just
is real, though.
right? It
I
is.
love the fact that you brought that up because I've told that to so many people when it comes to video. Like, you see that,
Yeah.
like, they just kinda, like, sit there, and they
Yeah.
don't wanna
No.
move because
I
'cause they're
straight
really
up have notes.
scared.
Like, I'll have notes whenever I'm gonna do a live or whenever I'm doing a training, or if I'm on stage, sometimes I'll have my phone so I can look at a note and come back. Like, I just keep it 100 because it lets me serve better. That's how
But
I
let's
feel.
put that out there for a second. Number 1, it
Yeah,
makes you legit.
yeah,
Number 2, it makes you real. And
yeah,
3, it makes you comfortable. And if you're
yeah,
comfortable, people will be comfortable with you. If you look
absolutely.
completely uncomfortable or you don't know, people are actually gonna stay away.
Yeah,
The
because 'cause they'll
more
feel that
real we are, the more people are tying in. It's the same reason why people love watching, like, somebody who's, like, riding their bicycle and falls off and smashes their face rather than
yeah,
somebody who can ride a bicycle perfectly.
yeah. And here's my other this was the biggest thing for me was, and I tell my students this all the time, I tell my team this all the time. I'm trying to get my husband to start a podcast because he won $1 million playing DraftKings back in 2021. I'm like, let's go. Like, it's time for your podcast, right? And I'm telling him the same thing. Like, it doesn't matter if it doesn't work right now. You are testing and tweaking.
Mhm.
Anything you put out there is a test and tweak. Even for me right now, I know my brand, I know my target market, but there are many niches or targets in me. I'm not just one. Like, you can't put me in a box. but what am I going to focus on right now for the next 6 months?
Mhm.
Like, and go all in with that content and test and tweak. Look at what worked, look at what didn't, and don't get too attached to it. I think people are just like, oh my God, nobody liked it or commented, so it sucked. No, nobody saw it because of the freaking algorithm. So don't get too
Right.
attached to
Yeah,
it. Post it
totally.
at a different time, right? Like, build an email list. So it doesn't matter what happens on social media. You can drive the same content to your email list and drive them back to that social media post, because that's what I do, right? Like, you matter to someone.
Mhm.
Your stuff will matter to someone, and it's about the one. It's not
Yeah.
about the millions, right? Some people are like, oh my gosh, Marina, but oh, my views are down. I'm like, who cares? You have
Just keep
views.
moving.
That means somebody watched. That means
Yeah.
something mattered to someone. That's the servant. That's the servant mind that you have to have when you show up anywhere as a brand. And since I've done that, it's taken a lot of pressure off. I'll share with you something I'm doing, and I'm crazy for it, but I'm like, you know what? All the ad spend, all the things. What if? What if I showed up with 20 new pieces of content every single week, and then I literally just pieced it out and literally just vomited content, vomited content for the next 90 days?
Mhm.
Now, that's going to cost me money in editing and whatever, whatever, but I
Mhm.
probably would spend even more than that in ad spend. So why not? And
Okay,
so
so wait a second. Would you say that that strategy right there would be more impactful, more effective, less impactful, less effective, as effective? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, spend ads or forget the ads, do the organic and just put a lot of stuff out there.
I'm gonna do both and test
Okay.
it and see, because I'm not gonna shut my ads off. They work great. Like, I have a
Right.
great ROI on them. Like, nope, not doing that. But what if I could really amp up the organic shares, the organic whatever? And I forget who just did this, and this is who I just got it from. What's his name? Ooh, I can't remember his name. I'll find it and then I'll send it to you so you can put it in your
Cool.
notes or whatever. But
Yeah,
he
yeah.
literally said he just spent like $240,000 on organic content in 90 days that would have cost him almost 4 million in ad spend. And he got
Wow.
the
Just
same.
by putting out more content.
And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to double down. I'm going to do this. And here, you can't be attached to what worked, what didn't. You have to literally just find what did, so then you can use it again.
Look, here's what I'll say about that as well, is that people are so focused on perfection and trying to figure out like the exact right thing to put out there. And but what we got to do is everybody's got to like step back and think about how you consume content.
Yes.
Okay, you consume it very quickly, and this is why reels and shorts and all that other stuff is working right now, because we consume quickly. We
Yeah.
pass by shit really quick,
So
right?
fast.
So maybe today that particular video, one, maybe it just wasn't served up to people, so that could be one of them. The
Mhm.
second one is maybe it was, and it wasn't like the perfect thing that you said, but people saw it. But instead of trying to come up with the perfect thing to say so that people watch it longer, just come back again and be there again later on the same day, be there again tomorrow, be there again the next day. Start to
Yes.
become a constant in their world. And now
Yeah.
you're giving some, something for people to come back to. They will find value in some of that content. You're not
Oh,
going to hit a home run on everything you put out there. I know I don't hit a home run on everything, and we put out a shit ton of content,
oh, for sure.
but we're constant. And
Yeah.
that's why people continue to come back.
People appreciate the consistency. The whole, oh my gosh, I'm going to be like a bugaboo and bothering everybody and nobody wants to see this. Like, that all that you're telling yourself is the energy you're putting out when you do post something. So then
Are you
nobody
kidding? I say this. Do you think McDonald's, Nike, or Coca-Cola give a shit about how much they're bothering you?
No, they don't care,
They
right?
don't care, and
And
that's why they are who they are.
but that's the branding. And that's what you
That's
have to
right.
understand is, like, if you want to be remembered, you have to be everywhere at all times. And I get it. You don't have $240,000 to spend on, editing videos. Start with one a day. Do
Yeah.
one video every single day and then break it into pieces and then just reuse that every single month if you have to at this point. Like, but if you're not showing up everywhere, and I know Gary Vee talks about this all the time and whatever, but I'm saying this, you don't have to be an influencer to have influence.
Right.
You don't have to have millions of followers to get shares. You don't have to be someone to make an impact. And if you really do want those things while you're making money at the same time, like, you've got to be seen more. Like, I have
Mhm.
people that send me messages all the time Oh my God, I was thinking of you today, and it's a high heels because they were shopping. That's branding.
That's a hell of a way to say it.
Branding,
That's what we call Mindshare.
right?
So people are
Yes,
thinking about
right?
heels, and now they think about you.
Me every time.
Congratulations.
Oh
That's
my gosh,
amazing.
these would look so cute on you on stage. Now, are they buying something from me at that point? Not yet. But you better believe they're going to be in my customer journey. And at some point, they're going to see something and be like, oh, I'm going to buy
Journey.
something from her.
The journey.
The journey.
That's the word right there. Tell me this. What does it mean to be brand forward?
Brand forward is this. Whenever I think of what I'm going to post, I'm talking to Betty. So Betty is my avatar. Betty is
Okay.
my person. Okay.
Is it always Betty?
It's always Betty.
Okay.
I named her Betty. I even named
No,
my
no,
post.
it's a serious question because I want people to
Yes,
be able to internalize what you're saying right now and
yes,
use this for
Betty.
themselves, right? Yep.
So here's the why. When back in the day, when I was a Hot Mess Express, we had a crew I branded called Beast and Betty's, and
Yeah.
we were a mess. But people knew when we were in the club. Okay, they knew when we were there, and I was like, "Ah, oh, Betty, I'm talking to Betty. Name your person." And so
Right.
I have in front of me, not here, it's downstairs, but like I have post-its of like, here's Betty's problems. Here's Betty's dream outcome. Here's what Betty is struggling with today. I always talk to who Betty was yesterday, though. Like, I don't want to talk to that girl 10 years ago. Oof. I don't want to
Yeah.
talk to her. No. What was it? More than 10 years now? Wow. Yeah, I'm that old. 15 years ago? Whatever. I don't talk to her that long ago. I talk to who I was yesterday or a week ago. So this way I can influence somebody who's more on the level I want to work with.
Hmm.
But when I think about being brand forward, I think about when I'm talking to her. I don't care if I'm selling weight loss, I'm selling it to her. I don't care if I'm selling a house, which I've never done before, but hey,
Yeah.
now I'm kind of like maybe I can,
Yeah.
right? Like sell a house to Betty. I'm talking to Betty with anything I'm doing. I'm relating to Betty. I'm being real, raw, relatable in my reels. It doesn't have to necessarily be like I'm teaching all the time. More of like I want to get her to watch something of mine and be like, yes, me too, or OMG, I feel the same way. Because when I
Right.
can get that emotional trigger from someone, then I can take them down a funnel of deciding which way it is they want to work with me.
It's the emotional trigger, and I think that that's the
Emotional
big one
trigger.
there. And so again, what I'm taking away from that, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I understood you properly, but it's you're trying to figure out, you're trying to almost take that, like what we talked about audience a few minutes ago, and like break it right down to like one person and almost go, this is kind of the definition of what that audience looks like. These are the problems that that person is going through. I'm now going to help that person. And as I'm
By
helping
creating
that
content.
person, it's actually helping everybody that would be within my audience, that
Yeah.
community,
Yeah. Think about this, right? What are the
like that.
reels that go like when you think about the reels that get shared the most or the shorts or the
Mhm.
TikToks or whatever, it's because somebody's like, yep, me too. And so they hit the share button.
That's right.
So sometimes we are putting out so much teaching information, we forget the relatability piece. So why not put yourself in Betty's place with a problem and create a reel around it? For example, if I'm thinking of my niche, my mom, who's a stay-at-home, work-at-home mom, she's got a side hustle, right? Maybe I'm doing a reel of me trying to do a podcast holding the closet door, like shaking like this because my kids are literally trying to get in there when I'm doing a podcast. That's relatable to that woman, and that's going to make her laugh.
Hold on, I want to clarify something. Do you sell
Yeah.
doors?
No,
Do you sell social media?
no.
Okay, so we're making a video about trying to get on social media, and we're playing with the door, and I get the visual there, but
Hmm.
I'm asking that very specifically because again, people might go, I understand why.
Yeah.
It's like when
Oh, I love that
Jennifer
you're
would sit
asking that.
there when Jennifer would sit there and do, like, her cooking videos, right, which
Mhm.
killed it, and you go, "Is she a chef?" Like, I mean, she is a chef in my mind, but it's like, is she selling that? She's not selling that, but
No.
that's relatable. That's where people are like, "Yo, I wanna see more."
A mom who's working at home that
Right,
feels the same way or can laugh at that reel probably needs something else that I offer.
right.
And it's not my job to assume that. It's my job to get her to engage and then take her down my funnel. Bring her into a freebie, have a conversation with her. The person who has the most conversations wins. That's how
So
you
wait, you're
network.
not trying to sell the shit out of people right off the hop when you first meet them?
Never, never. Never.
So tell me
Never.
this, if I said to you, "What is the trick then to scaling so quickly?" Are we already talking about that, or is there something to add on to that? Is this about figuring out your audience and really getting into that lifestyle kinda content?
Getting into the lifestyle content, and then really, in my opinion, using your stories as a way to sift
Social
and sort through.
stories? Social
Yeah, so
stories,
your
yep, yep,
stories, like your Instagram, Facebook
yep.
stories, TikTok stories. I don't need LinkedIn, I think, has stories now. I don't even know. But
Everybody's
like
got
all the
stories.
places you can that you can repurpose, that's where I connect deeper with people. I find all my high-end, high ticket clients that way, because those are the people that are really like engaging there. My email
Right.
list, driving people to my socials. So then I'm sifting and sorting all different ways. But I will say this, there wasn't one way that I scaled.
Okay.
I'm going to say this because I think it just needs to be said. I literally learned how to do my own ads and I built everything in house. I learned how to do my own editing. I built everything in house. This isn't for everybody what I did,
Mhm.
but I hired a lot of people that didn't care about my business the way that I cared about my business. And so I made a decision that I was going to scale by learning how to do things. I learned how to build funnels. I learned copy. I learned ads. I learned text message marketing. Is it a lot? Yes, but this brain is full of so many amazing things.
Yeah,
Now I've trained my in-house on how to do it.
right.
So that is what I feel like helped us scale, knowing our niche, knowing exactly what problems we were going to solve, knowing how to take them down different funnel ways and take them through a customer journey, how to retarget with ads, how to stay consistent with social media. Like it's all the things.
So you keep bringing up the email list, and you mentioned about text message before too, and how that does well. And I know that that's become a big thing. And I will say this is that there was a period of time for me that text message to me was don't go there. Like, don't go there
Yes.
from a mass
Yep.
messaging perspective. Keep that as your back pocket, like connection, right? So that if I send you a message and I'm like, yo, you got a second? You don't go, who is this? You know who it is because that's why I've got the cell number. And then instead of like a hi Marina, it's David Greenspan. Wonder if you remember me, blah blah blah. Just wondering if I like might be able to thank you so much, David. Like that might be an email, but that is definitely not a text
Agreed.
message. So the whole
Agreed.
thing of like spamming people by text, there was a point, and again, let me clarify that. There was a point there where I said, if you don't know the people and you haven't got the cell numbers and they don't know that it's you texting, stay out of it.
Agreed.
Whereas if they've got you in their phone and you flip a text, there is no who is this because they've got you in the phone. So they see it. And now to me, that is again like you're outside of the phone call, that is like your next best.
Yeah. Yeah. So I agree 5 bajillion%. Nobody is on my texting list unless they want to be.
There you go.
Okay, so that's first and
Yep.
foremost. If somebody buys something from me, like randomly, like on social media, I pop them into my text list
Hmm.
because I'm asking for their phone number anyway. And I specifically say, hey, I just want to make sure my email didn't end up in spam. Here's where you can find what you purchased from me. If you never want me to text you again, reply back, stop. And I don't like go text those people like with mass texts.
Hmm.
I have conversation with those people.
See, and that's the key. It's the convo, right?
Yes.
So the
Conversation.
connection between the social media and then because again, you've brought this up a few times with the email, and I'll lump again the text in there. Why is that so important as a support mechanism? Like, what are you doing? I guess simplifying this for everybody who says, okay, I've got a social media account. I'm listening to what she's saying. I kind of want to do this. Where's my connection point between, let's say, my social media post and then my email list? And then kind of maybe even that parlay over to the text message. And that might be like a double sort of,
Yeah.
kind of double down there.
I guess it's a couple of ways, but I mean, there's so many different strategies. My
Right.
strategy is this,
Yeah.
like, if I send too many emails and somebody doesn't like it, I don't want them on my list anyway. If I post too much and they don't like it and they want to unfollow me, goodbye, right? Like, it is what it is. So if I make a post and it does well,
Yeah.
I'm going to share that with my email list, but I'm going to go deeper when I write that email. Like, it's not going to be like the same thing they could have seen on social media. I'm going to be like, okay, this meant something to people.
Right.
I'm going to take it now to my list and I'm going to go in deeper. And I'm also going to say, hey, by the way, if you want to see a shorter version of this and you want to tag some friends, cool, go here. Right.
How do you
And
parlay
so
the text into that?
The text, okay, so I wouldn't necessarily do a text for that.
Okay.
My texts are going to be very value based, like, hey, I just did this reel. It's popping off. It's a viral sound. Go use it. Here's my strategy. Go use it.
Cool.
So that'll
And
be
that's the
more
email.
text. That'll be the
Oh,
text.
sorry. Okay. Got it. Yeah. Yeah.
That'll be the text. The email is going to be more like a personal, hey, like I'm, did this post, it did really well, which means I guarantee someone like you wants to hear more of this. I'll share more of my story, go deeper. Because I mean, listen, when I open an email, I especially if I open it, I want to go deeper with somebody. That's just
Right.
me. Unless I know it's a sales email, then I'm like, okay, I want to buy something.
And if I
But
reply back to your text, do you reply back to me?
absolutely.
That can get
Yep.
crazy, eh?
Oh, yes.
I got a
Absolutely.
guy that I met
It's
not too
not
long
just
ago.
me usually, by the way. Like I have in-house assistants and then
Right.
they're like, "Hey, this is yours. You need to get in here and talk to this person."
Right. Right. Right.
Then I definitely get in there, but sometimes I will like on a Monday, Tuesday, I'm like, everybody's quiet today. I'll go send a text and be like, yo, hit me with like 10 questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
go. And I'll sit and I'll make it part of my office hours just to
I
reply back to people.
I got a guy I met recently, started leveraging the text thing, and I swear it was me and him talking because I met him in person, put his number in my phone, put his name, and like he sent me a couple texts. And I thought I was talking to him, which I'm pretty confident I still was. But then I started to, as I got some more things from him, I was like, hey, I just dropped a new podcast. Check this out. I thought you might like it. And my spidey sense started going off and going, yo, this guy's leveraging some text channels now. And I feel like I'm having a convo with them. So what did I do? Replied back, yo, thanks, bro. We'll check it out.
Yeah.
Right. And you're having that one-on-one
Yeah.
conversation. And now it just again, it's that back pocket connection point with people. I think it's powerful. And I just think it's powerful, it's special, and you don't want to over abuse it, but I think that there's ways to really leverage it as well when
Yeah.
done right. And I think a big
Absolutely.
deal here is yes, naturally with a massive influx of messages, there's going to be some folks helping you, but at the same time too, when you're jumping in and you're triggering that stuff, this is where a legit conversation happens,
Absolutely.
right?
Conversations lead to conversions. So how can we have more real conversations?
For
And
real, right?
look, I will say this too. Like, are there times where it's like, whoa, overwhelming? I mean, I have an email list of over 80,000 now. I've got, text list of 30,000 plus. I've got a team that's over 150,000 worldwide. So, like, yeah, it's a lot. But you have to have those office hours and just be very disciplined with your business and with that balance.
Yeah. Um, we talk a lot, I talk a lot about with folks, and we're doing it right now, that online and offline connection with people,
Mhm.
right? Of I can meet you on social. At
Yep.
some point, as you just said, conversations lead to conversions. If I want to get any opportunity to try to convert anything or even just extend the conversation, build the relationship, I've got to then take it from the online and move into the offline. Much the
Yes.
same I've said to people, I'm like, okay, they're like, what do you do when you first meet somebody? I'm like, yo, what can you figure out that's like you've got something in common with? And all of a
Yep.
sudden, oh my God, are you part of this group?
Yep.
No. Oh, let me send it to you. What's your Facebook or what's your name? Search it up.
Yeah.
Is that you? Yeah, perfect. Let me show. Done. I've now taken it offline, moved it onto online, and I can now keep a conversation going even well after I see you walking your puppy at the park or grabbing your
Correct.
coffee at the coffee shop, right? We can
Yes.
do that. So what it just I guess maybe, I talk about that from like a generating organic leads perspective is having that mindset around online to offline. So like wherever you met the person, think about how can I take it to go to the other side?
Yes.
Any tips you've got for folks about when we talk about that, just things that you do or a coffee shop, again, you said you've got a puppy walking at the park, like anything like that, like just so that people could
Yeah.
generate more organic leads from social.
Yeah.
And that may be a
So
totally loaded question.
it is a loaded question, but I will share this. Compliment and connect. Like the simplest way for me is to compliment and then find a way to connect. And so for me, like if I see a chick in high heels, guess what? I'm complimenting her on them. Like it's just my go-to. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I love those heels. I'm my brand is Moms and Heels, so I'm
Yep.
obsessed with your heels. Oh, what's Moms and Heels? Boom, easy conversation, right? I help busy women. Beep 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 beep. What do you do?
Yep.
Easy conversation, right? When I'm it's funny. I was walking my new golden doodle He's not
Well, I
that
mentioned
doodle.
you. I saw you mention that off the top, so I was like, you know what? Dog park. Here we
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Golden doodle. OMG, this dog. But anyway, eats everything. But I was walking him, and there was another woman in my neighborhood that was walking her golden doodle. And I've like wanted to talk to her because I'm like, oh, I wonder what she does. Like, they got nice cars, they just moved here. What it do? Oh my gosh, you have a golden doodle. I have a golden doodle. It turned into what do you do? What do you do? And now
Mhm.
we're working together. Right? Like,
Sure.
so it's just the simple things to compliment and connect. Compliment and connect. If you compliment somebody, that is a big way in because most people don't get compliments all day. So if you compliment, what happens? You become somebody that is like taking a little bit of a wall down to start a conversation. And so compliment, connect as much as you
Okay.
can on or offline.
And this is all about, again, when you're trying to like have those conversations, there it is. And the more you do that with people, the more you're going to be able to have those conversations where people want to talk more to you.
Yes.
Right now, as we talk
What do
about
you
that,
do conversation? The what do you do? We want people to ask us that so we
right,
can network.
right. What's your favorite platform right now?
Instagram.
What do you think of Facebook?
It's funny. Instagram has been just my go-to since 2015.
Sorry, I should have said why to the like when you say Instagram, like why.
It's easier to connect with people
Okay.
that you're not friends with, right? Like people have this wall up on Facebook, you're not my friend. Now they're
Yeah.
changing it. So I'm excited because now you can do reels and you can have followers and stuff like that. So I would say definitely
Reels are killing it on Facebook right now.
killing it on Facebook. It's just
Holy
like the TikTok
shit.
days. Like if you're not doing reels, you're not like, listen, post reels, just do
Yeah.
it. It's like a
I
no
can't believe it.
brainer.
Like Jennifer and I did one that was like, she like had me hold the phone while she did her makeup in the
Yeah,
mirror. And it's
yeah,
like there was some like voiceover.
yeah.
The things get like it's got what 12,000 views on it or something. And it's like the silliest little video.
It's free
But
marketing
that's
too.
compared to what it did on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
Nothing close to the same.
No, it's here's the thing with Facebook. They're just now starting to try to make it to where it's a platform for people to be able to use and not just have like friends. Like you're my friend, I'm your friend, we're
Yeah.
family, that's it, right? So I love it. So now like Facebook, I'm like, okay, cool. But I love myself some Instagram because
Yeah.
searching, finding people, it's simple for me. Like I love it. However, I build everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm not
Do you
just
think
one.
Facebook still relevant?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, especially for groups.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, for me, like I really get frustrated with Facebook. I think
yeah,
that it's become incredibly arduous. I think that it's like there's just way too many moving parts. Everything takes too long. It's always like you're
yeah,
waiting for Facebook to like load something. Where
yeah,
like Instagram is my jam. Like I
yeah,
enjoy Instagram. I mean, to some degree, I can't stand any of these platforms in some way, these days. But
yeah,
it's like for real though. It's like I like Instagram. I like the flow. I like the layout. I like the simplicity of it. But I asked that question a lot lately because I feel like people are taping away from Facebook, and
yeah,
I've wanted to like say goodbye so many times. But I too, if you ask me the same thing, is it relevant? I'd say it's still relevant. And
yeah.
yes, you should still focus some time and efforts. And like we just said, when it comes to reels, it's killing it. But you also just mentioned groups, and we mentioned that off the top.
Mm,
For anybody for anybody tuned in right now that does not have a Facebook group, should they be building a Facebook group? Is this a mandatory for them, or is it maybe more just go get involved with Facebook groups and network with people in there? And then if they are going to build it, it's like, do they have to have an MO around that? What are they doing to get people involved? What might you say sort of and I know we could teach a whole course about this, right? But
yeah,
like in a short form, what's kind of the 2 cents to people that again are your salesperson who is, maybe doesn't feel that they've got this massive following or this massive community of people, and we're sitting here going start a group. Why?
yeah. Well, a couple of reasons. If you have a business Facebook page, you can leverage videos that you post on your business page, and you can. Oh, hold on. I think my computer. Um, and you can retarget those that have watched it. So, for example, let's say you do a free challenge in a Facebook group.
Okay.
And you have 100 people that join that Facebook group, and those 100 people watch that video. Even though they're like mute in the group, I can create an audience on Facebook with that video and retarget them as an engaged audience. So it's another way for you to tap in and kind of niche down your audiences.
Mhm.
And so that's been a big way for, I mean, my lead gen is like ridiculously low because this is one of my strategies. And so I think about my group that I have 40,000 people in, generic group, they download a freebie. I'm automatically telling them from that freebie to get their little tushies into the community of Facebook group. Once they're in that Facebook group, we tag them on a welcome video so then I can retarget them. So it's all about retargeting, in my opinion, and it's
Yeah.
about community. If you have a podcast, like you definitely want to have a Facebook group so people can talk about your podcast. It's almost like a forum, right, where they
Yeah.
can chat it out. And people are in groups. They're already in them. So if you know they're in them, have a place. Now, look, every strategy is exhausting. This has been since 2017 that I've implemented all of these strategies. So, like, don't try to go do all the things you've just heard about. Start with one. I mean, I mastered one in 6 months. I added another one.
Yeah.
I have a team that works on this strategy. I have a team that works on my blogging strategy. I have a team that works on this strategy.
So this wasn't an overnight success. Like it didn't just happen like that.
God, no, 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 no.
Trick to coming up with content.
Well, if you know like the 20 main problems that you're going to solve for your person, just keep solving them. We're talking to the new person in our content. We're not talking to the same audience. That's where a lot of
So
people
you can reuse.
reuse every 90 days. I'm reusing content because I'm always talking to the newest person. The newest person didn't see what I posted 90 days ago. The new follower has no idea my story. The new
What about
what
about the follower that has been following you and they see it again?
Well, hopefully they're on my email list so they can see cool new stuff.
Cool. Okay. See, I like to say to people as well when it comes to content, like listen, talk to your audience, figure out what it is they're looking for, figure out the questions they're asking you, figure out what their challenges are, and now start to solve that stuff for them.
Yep, exactly. I like to call it my 20 titles. Go to Google, or now you can use Chat GPT, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
What do you think about Chat GPT?
I think it's going to be helpful for people that are just getting started. I don't feel like it has any emotional connection in it whatsoever.
I
Because
agree with that. The emotional part is not there.
It's not there at all. And it'll tell you it's not there. I'm not a real person. I'm artificial intelligence. And so I would say if you don't want to sound like everyone else, use it as a tool, but do not let that be your content. Like that should not be your content should not be what Chat GPT created. Period.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, I think that when we talk about it, it's, do you want to expand on thought? Do you want to try to see what you can do to learn more? Do you want to get different spins on things? Do you want to maybe see what kind of substance you can get? But take that and put your own words on it. Take that and really understand like what it is you learned.
So I create niches and I do branding for clients, right? So I literally was like, let me see, because I create my own mission statements. I'm like, let me see what they would have created as a mission statement on Chat GPT with the same information that I have. It was horrible. It was so bad. It was so bad. Then I did it again for a different niche and it almost sounded exactly the same.
See?
And so I'm like, okay, let's be real here. Everybody's going to sound the same. If they're using the same AI generator, eventually it's all going to sound the same. And what makes your brand different is you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Like, but it's listen, I'm at an event next week and I'm going to be, I mean, I know there's going to be a session on Chat GPT, so I'm not going there to teach anything, but it's part of like for a moment. And it's just making everybody really understand what you need to know about leveraging this thing because there are way too many people going, you know, ABC, perfect, copy, paste, boom, slap my name, David Greenspan, see you later. And it's like, no, don't do that, right? Because again, you just said it, your brand is you. Yeah. And that's why people keep coming back.
Exactly.
How much, you know, look, you've done an amazing job with your social stuff. You seem to have just a ton of knowledge up there. And I know so many of the questions I ask, like literally could be a course. How much time do you dedicate to social media in a day? Is it the be all and end all of your day? Like you've talked about having conversations with people in text message, putting emails out there, but what does social from a content and even just a time factor as a mom, as a dog owner, you know
Mm.
what I mean? Like being at home, being a wife. I mean, there's other responsibilities in life. Like call it what it is, right? Work life
Yeah.
balance is always tough.
If I looked at it just for my network marketing business, like, because I have different sections to the brand of the umbrella, like for that, it's 45 minutes a day. Boom.
That's it.
It's it. And
Cool.
literally, it's in my schedule. Like, I have to have everything scheduled out, or this bipolar brain will end up in la la land all over the place. Right. So, 45 minutes a day for that. Then, it's like I'm prospecting for my brand for clients. So, I have 45 minutes a day for that,
What do you do to
creating
prospect? Like high level, high level.
high level, like what I'm prospecting, it's literally like what I said, like I'll send like a text message
Okay.
out to the
Got it.
leads who bought a certain program,
Got
and
you.
then I'm talking to them, and I'm like 45
Cool.
minutes, and then I'm like, I can't, 30 minutes really is my max limit. 45
Yeah.
minutes, like it drives me nuts, right? But and then my kids are in school, so when they're in school, like I have all day, so I'm like, woohoo,
Yeah.
yay! They're my 3-year-old is going to be 4. We put her in preschool. I don't know. Hopefully, she doesn't get kicked out because she's a lot like me, a lot like me. No F bombs, so we're doing good so far. But I have it scheduled
From
where in the
her,
morning,
from you.
her, her, her. But
Love
like I
that.
have
3 or
it
4 years old.
scheduled 10 to 4. So 10 to 4 are the working hours that I have, whether it's my brand, creating content, working my network marketing business, meetings, Zooms, coaching calls. That's it. And then when my kids come home, like I'm off, and then I turn on again for like an hour from like 9 to 10, and then I'm off.
Everything is scheduled.
Everything is scheduled.
Love that. Love
Everything.
that. It's so important. So now, everything's scheduled. You've done everything in your day. Kids are finally asleep. Time to breathe.
Yeah.
How do you know it's been a successful day for you?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. I don't go by my to-do list because I will always have a new one. My brain just never stops creating. So I
Mhm.
have to brain dump every week. Like every Sunday I brain dump. A successful day for me is feeling like I served someone saying thank you. If someone
Love
tells me
that.
thank you, that was helpful, that's a successful day for me. I used to look at my Stripe account and that would tell me how successful my day was. And I now don't look at it daily, which is amazing.
Mhm.
Instead, I look at the thank yous. I look at how many thank yous am I getting, because that is what gets me excited again to even want to go create in the first place. So that would be honestly how I would say I can put my head on my pillow and know that I did everything I have to do today. That's what I would kind of measure it on.
I love the answer, and I love how you clarified on the Stripe thing because I think that there's a paradigm shift there where we all, when we're setting goals, look at like how much money we want to make.
Yeah.
But as you just said, "Ooh, that's a good question," or however you sort of responded back when I asked that. It is a question I ask at the end of every episode,
Yeah.
and we're still batting 1,000. So I thank you because
Yeah.
nobody talks about the fact that it's money.
Yeah.
Like and again, don't get me wrong. You've said it.
No.
I love money. I'm not going to
Yeah.
downplay that shit, but I'm
No.
saying we've had some amazing people here. And again, I know for everybody tuned in on a regular basis, you hear me say this all the time, but so do the guests, and no guest has been scripted. You can tell it's a genuine response from Marina today, serving other people,
Yeah.
right? And so I ask everybody again that's tuned in, like, what are you doing to get out there and help others today? What are you doing to serve others today? You want to have a successful day? Think of what you can do for others, not what you can do for you.
Amen.
Final words, Marina. This has been absolutely awesome. Like I said, I think we could have talked a lot more here about so many of the things for like hours on end. Would love to do it again at some point.
Yes,
But I would
definitely.
ask you, final words that you could share with anybody to help them get out there, build more mind share so that they can get more market share.
When you lead with a servant of who can I help or how can I add value to someone, the universe is going to open up and connect you to the people that you need. And I say this because I used to think this was a bunch of woohoo nonsense for the longest time. I was like, whatever, the energy you put out, the energy you're going to get back. But it's so true. Just this last 6 months of me focusing on how I could serve more has opened opportunities and networks. And I have people in my inboxes. I'm on stages I never thought I could be on, and I'm literally, and I feel so freaking good. So if there's anything I could tell you about how to grow your business faster, go serve more. Because when you offer what you have to other people, they want to give something back in return. And that's how you're going to get on more stages. That's how you're going to get in new networks. That's how you're going to get introduced people, that want to spend more money with you, or want to introduce you to people that want to spend more money with you. Right. And I'm not saying give away your time and not charge for it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, though, if you want to sit at bigger tables, you're going to have to go serve the people that are sitting at those bigger tables. How can you do that?
Great question right there for everybody to leave off on. Write that down, and I encourage everybody to go and answer that question for themselves. Marina, where can people find you?
You'll find me on Instagram. Just search Marina Simone. I'm there. And that's kind of like my platform. You're always talking to me. You're never talking to a bot. So that's a good news. Um,
Cool. Love that.
and, momsandheels.com is my website. If you want to, it's horrible. Don't go there. Just come to my Instagram.
That's legit right there, everybody.
Yes.
Marina, thank you. This has been it's been fun. It's been insightful for sure, and I think there's a lot of awesome takeaways that people could walk away with. I want to congratulate you on all the success you're having. Wish you the best of luck for 100 times more. And a big thank you for making the time to join us on the Mindshare podcast today.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. You are either watching this live, you are listening to this on one of your favorite podcast platforms. Maybe you went to my website, mindshare101.com. While you are there, make sure to download your free copy of the Ultimate Marketing Bundle. This is our 31-page ebook, including your free 90-day social media content calendar to help you build more Mindshare so that you can get more market share. A reminder as well that if you are looking to talk about personalized one-to-one coaching, an in-person keynote talk for your upcoming event, and or ongoing virtual momentum training, just get in touch with myself, my team, some of us here at the team. We'll get a consultation call set up for you. We will talk more about what you're looking to achieve and how we are going to help you do just that. Also, make sure to get registered for our small group mastermind taking place on May 29th and 30th in Toronto. This is going to be a powerful 2 days of collaboration, networking, and problem solving. Also, don't forget to leave a review over at www.ratethispodcast.com/Mindshare101. Connect with me on Facebook at Mindshare101 and on Instagram at David Greenspan101. Of course, I want to take a moment here to thank Kits Keep in Touch Systems as well as REM Real Estate Magazine for sponsoring the Mindshare podcast today. Make sure you go to the website, Mindshare101.com, and find out what all of these powerful companies will do to help you grow your business. This has been another episode of the Mindshare podcast. Thank you for tuning in.